You will not make the Mount Kenya people shift their allegiance from Ruto to Raila. That would be a dream, a pipe dream. You cannot say Ruto should do certain things when he's not president, because he can't do those things. But what we can't allow him to do is to completely delink himself. That is not part of the government. Because Tuju is a big man, I would not want him to come and do such a small thing. But if it was a good thing, I'll choose him.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Understanding Politics. It's a beautiful week, Professor. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Cold, but it's okay.
We're still surviving.
Yeah, of course.
One of the few things that people are scared of is that they might catch a cold and think it's COVID. Do you think people are still keeping themselves safe?
Yeah, people are, I think by and large, yes. By and large, people are still on the game.
What do you think then about the vaccinations?
We need to step up the vaccination. We need to do a lot more than we have done. Well, within the understanding that is a good thing, because there are also people who are wondering, is it a good thing? You can't even tell.
We can't.
But let's just agree it's a good thing, and let's step up the vaccination. Okay,
let's take a look at some of the things you guys said about Professor Herman Manyora's analysis over last week. He asked the questions, is Raila going to be the 5th president of this great republic? Professor, last week you made your analysis asking the question, is Raila going to be the 5th president, giving out some of the arguments that people have been posing that might not lead him to the presidency. Jay Matathia says, stop retaliating. The past Baba lost resoundingly and will lose again if Gema does not support him. The only reason we are going to vote for him is that there are no better alternatives. Do you think this is an argument?
Maybe it's one of the reasons why he will win. Yeah, if you have no alternative and he's the only one, then he wins.
It doesn't matter, the Gema.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah. Jeremy Ngari says, why don't you go for president, sir? You are my best. Have you ever thought of running?
No.
Why?
The kind of resources you require is not easy.
So you have thought about it, but the resources quite tricky.
You need a lot of resources and networks and it's not anything you want to imagine. No. I don't want to be some wannabe, people who run and get 200,000 votes.
Obed Ondieki says, DP Ruto knows that he will be the official opposition leader come August 2022. Is it a done deal though?
I've always assumed so, but I could be wrong. Politics is a game that has no rules. You can't predict anything in politics. You have to wait until the last day. But I've always thought the way this thing has been crafted, Ruto stands no chance in 2022. And therefore, the guy could be right that he's headed to the opposition. But even then, it's not very easy to predict.
We'll talk more about Ruto on the talk. Simon Mwaliru says, tukiachana na ushabiki wa siasa, mie naamini mzalendo wa kweli Kenya ni Raila Odinga. Ni mtu aliyepigania mageuzi yote ambayo wanasiasa wananufaika nayo nchini Kenya. Is Raila that leader that should take over?
Even people who don't vote for Raila, including those who can't, including those who hate him, in the moment when they're alone, they know they are not being fair to him. They know it. They know you can't compare Raila to anyone else in this country. In terms of other countries, when people have done what Raila has done for their people, they are always automatically rewarded by things like the presidency.
Most people,
so more or less automatic.
The people who say Raila was the prime minister and we did not see huge development happening through his name, would you say this is a good argument?
It is a bad argument, actually a weak one, because people say, I'm not like them, but people say the best we have had in this country was during the Kibaki regime. And they add, it is during the coalition government, the Nusumkat, that we realize all these big things, that we are infrastructure and so on and so forth. So I don't think you can. Secondly, really you have to be the man in charge to be judged. Yeah, well, if you are prime minister and an arrangement that where Kibaki was not ceding ground, you can't really blame Raila for that.
You can't blame him, but he was the prime minister. Should people then still say the same about the DP?
Yeah, you see, you cannot say Ruto should do certain things when he's not president, because he can't do those things. But what we can't allow him to do is to completely delink himself. that is not part of the government, that we can't allow him. Even Raila was part of the coalition government. Uhuru is part of this Jubilee government. But there is something you can do only when you are in charge.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Better judge when...
Yes, you can only judge Ruto if you make him the president.
Okay.
But we will not allow him to run away from the fact that he's part of this government.
Joseph Ndazi says, your day is coming, Prof, with all your rants and support for Raila. He will still lose. He has spoiled the NASA support because of bullying. He has made many mistakes, like once you were pointing out, and he has become a government spokesman in all government evils, which have turned many people from him. This time the elections will not be rigged and Raila will lose. Does he mean, though, that the elections were rigged somehow?
Well, that's what he means, and he's answering himself. So I'm not the Supreme Court.
Would you blame Raila for NASA's fallout?
You know, this is politics. Politics is difficult. To put people together in the house, in politics, is not easy. You see, a coalition arrangement before election is a clumsy, difficult thing. People get into coalitions after winning an election. But before an election, and then imagine you don't even win. Surely. You have nothing to give. So, people still have all manner of issues with Raila, but really, Raila didn't become president.
But when it comes to NASA, I've seen Raila speaking, and he feels confident that he'll be back with the team. Do you think this will happen?
He knows because, you see, it's unfortunate for these guys. Where can they go? And I'm so good. In fact, they should even pay me, Mudavadi and Kalonzo. I'm telling them, if you make the mistake of running alone, you are running into the trap being set for you. Because Raila would be happy to give the slot for Luyas to Oparanya. But if Mudavadi is there, he can't. If Mudavadi sticks with Raila and Uhuru, Raila would not do what his heart wishes. His heart is that he gives it to Oparanya. Dito, Raila would rather work with Alfred Mutua and Ngilu as governor, with Kivuta Kibwana as a senior member of cabinet or even Senate speaker. But he can't do that if Kalonzo is there. So if Kalonzo and Mudavadi bolt and go on their own, two things will happen. One, they will lose badly. Secondly, they will create room for these others to enter the government if Raila and Uhuru form government.
So even with their talk, Kalonzo, Mudavadi coming out...
They will be there. They will be ndani.
And Raila knows it for sure.
He knows it. That's why he's confident. Where can they go? And I asked Kalonzo, and I've told you. I've said it, I think on TV or something. Yeah. I asked Kalonzo, are you sure if Uhuru tells you to back Raila, you'll say no? He says, I'll say no. I'll tell him I'm waiting for the day you'll say yes. Yeah. Then where we were taking tea at his Kalonzo Msioka Center or something, I'll go back under the very nice place under the trees. And we will have tea, as I told him, I told you.
You've said it.
He can't look Uhuru in the eyes and tell him no. Mudavadi will not look Uhuru in the eyes and tell him no, I'm not backing Raila. He will back Raila.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Let's take a look at the talk. I've seen a lot of conversations out there about why Ruto might become the president. Professor said Raila might become. Let's take a look at why it is quite difficult for people to come together and say that Ruto will become the president of this country. Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi launched a book, and in his book he said that the status quo and the deep state is afraid that Ruto is becoming quite unpredictable, and many people cannot say whether or not he will rule like Kibaki or he will rule like Daniel Toroitich, the second president. Professor, let me ask you, do you think Ruto is unpredictable, as the governor would say, and that's why people are scared that this guy should not talk over the power?
One, you can never know what somebody will be until you give them power. You know, power is very interesting. You can never know what kind of person a human being will be until they are sitting on that throne. Then you begin to see who they are. Even in smaller places, even for smaller jobs. You look at a good guy, you give him a job, then pop, you can't believe he's the one. You know, so you can't say what Ruto will be, but certainly I know what people think. And I agree with Kiraitu Murungi. That's what many people think. They can't trust him. The status quo cannot trust Ruto with the presidency. They think he will descend on Raila, descend on Gideon, and even descend on Uhuru.
And might you say, why would you say that this unpredictability has happened, and it has not happened before in the past presidents that we've had, even in different countries, except for Donald Trump in the US? Why would you say this unpredictable?
Let me tell you, systems reproduce themselves.
Oh.
Normally, there are no shock presidents in any election. So you mentioned Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump. It is usually within the same system. You get people from there. Membership of a club. You don't go outside the club. So Ruto is a rank outsider. And the people don't know how outsiders behave. So Raila was an outsider until he was put inside. Now he's an insider. Now they can trust him. Before that, they couldn't.
Well, you
Moi was an insider, groomed to be an insider. Kibaki was there. But Ruto will be a complete outsider. They don't know what kind of person he will be.
And it's a tricky situation for them to support
Yes,
him.
yes, yes.
But you said that Ruto is going to be the only person that can beat Raila.
Yes.
Do you still stand by the fact that you've sometimes been saying that Ruto cannot be president as of now?
Ruto can be president. You see, it depends on how Raila plays his game. It depends on how Uhuru plays his game. This is politics, my friend. They have to play their game. So far, he's ahead of them. And they have to play their game well.
If he becomes president, which leadership style do you think he will take as of now?
I have not thought about it seriously because he has not presented himself as a person who is coming up with serious alternatives. He's playing politics with even the most serious things like the economy. So I have not taken him seriously so far. But I can't write him off as a president. He can be a good one, who knows?
Because he has come up with several agendas, the economy, bottom-up, hustler.
That's not economy, that is neither here nor
You've
there.
always said
One
that
day.
though. But I would wonder, might he become the president that most people are looking for, a president loved by the people and hated by the
That's
status
what I'm
quo?
telling you. You can never know what a person he can be until he becomes president. Ruto can become president and he becomes a very good president. Or so lousy, even these people are making noise, begin to feel very, very ashamed and embarrassed. You can never know.
For Raila though, going to tackle Ruto is going to be a hard game for him. And he has already started with some of the economical thoughts that Ruto had in the beginning. What would you say is going to make him or destroy him when it comes to dealing with Ruto?
No, Raila has to play politics. Anything else won't work. It's just politics. For example, you must know, unless you destroy the Mount Kenya vote for Ruto, you cannot beat him. So the politics must center around how do you destroy the Mount Kenya vote. And you have to come up with different strategies. Because you will not make the Mount Kenya people shift their allegiance from Ruto to Raila. That would be a dream, a pipe dream. But there are games you can play, strategies you can employ to ensure those votes are not useful. Because if you get 40% of the votes from Mount Kenya, Ruto is done. He's gone.
40%?
Oh, only 40%.
Without the gamma?
He needs two things. One, a good turnout. And they don't have a presidential candidate, but they have to turn out well. The hustler narrative works so well, the turnout can be good. Now, of the turnout of those who vote, you need more than 75% to win if you are Ruto. Anything short of that. So if they get 40% from you, you are gone.
So would you say that Justin Muturi and Wanjigi can spoil the vote?
Of
for
course.
him?
Those are strategies. Just part of the strategy.
Some people say that sometimes they put a political candidate to destroy the other.
Yeah.
Is that a strategy?
It is a strategy. There was Kibaki and Matiba game played, to neutralize Jaramogi Oginga Odinga.
Yeah.
All these were pawns. I'm going to do a show soon about the pawns of Kenyan politics 2022. Most of the people are just pawns. They even don't know. You think you are running, kumbe you are a pawn.
And you're seriously running?
You see your campaign doing so well, kumbe deep state is funding your campaign without you knowing. When Matiba came from treatment, getting treatment in UK, you couldn't go. There was a standstill between the airport and the town. Most of those things were stage money by deep state and intelligence. They can do that to you. They can make you think you are a better. All they need to do is to destroy the game of vote.
For them to take Ruto out.
For them to take Ruto down.
Okay, that has been the talk, Professor Herman Manyora. Let's take a look at would you rather, see what Professor gambles with these politicians. And my goodness, you must want to see this. Professor, would you rather have Moses Wetangula or Kiraito Murungi? We've spoken about it as your manager, because sometimes, Professor, you have so many appointments. Who would you rather manage you?
These are good brains.
Yeah.
These are tough lawyers, brilliant minds. So any one of them can do.
But choose one.
choose one.
Ah.
As a manager, maybe Wetangula.
Wetangula.
He's shrewd, more streetwise than Kraito.
Oh.
Yeah, more pragmatic.
He got the game on the streets.
Yeah.
James Manyora, the governor for Kiambu, Machakos governor Alfred Mutua as your political strategist.
Certainly goes without saying Alfred Mutua will take the trophy. Yeah.
Why not?
You see, he's playing at the National League from nowhere. I don't think Nyoro can get there.
Not anytime soon.
No, not soon.
Because right now,
Alfred Mutua is already in the game. He's already up there. He's sitting with the big boys. Yeah.
At his age.
Yes, he's doing well.
Okay, you have Raphael Tuju or Mohammed Ali to choose one to replace me on this seat. Who would you like to be interviewing you?
Because Tuju is a big man, I would not want him to come and do such a small thing. But if it was a good thing, I'll choose him.
The other, Mohammed Ali.
That's a small boy, but if it is this, he can do.
Mohammed Ali.
But serious things. You mean Jichopevu?
Yes,
Yeah, if
Jichopevu.
it's a small things like this, he can do. But serious business, of course, will be Tuju.
He has been a journalist for quite
But to give Tuju was also a journalist.
Yeah.
Of a higher standing than Mohammed. You can't compare Tuju's experience in media with Jichopevu.
Jichopevu.
Tuju is playing in the higher league.
Okay, that is Professor Herman Manyora. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Understanding Politics. My name is Jedel Cabrera here with Professor Herman Manyora. If you haven't joined yet, go ahead and join. Click the join button right next to the subscribe button. And if you haven't subscribed, why don't you go ahead and do that? Share, comment, and until we have this conversation again, thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you too.